What was the big incident at your high school?
The Rumble of 18. Let me explain. So my freshman year, right? Our freshman class was very, very, very rowdy. So these smooth brains decided to, at a pep rally that I was playing bass guitar at, decided to have an all-out civil war in the bleachers. For context, our high school was one of the biggest in the city, right? With our freshman class consisting of 527 kids. And all 527 of them were beating each other senseless for an hour and 37 minutes with no intervention. 6 kids died, 30-something went to the hospital, and the fight ended when one of our history teachers got hit with a chair that was flying at his face at 120 miles per hour.
Okay, it's my turn because I know I have all of you beat. When I was a sophomore in high school, this guy, he piped a deer. It was dead, like stuffed dead. I really don't know if that makes it better or not, but it happened. So his friend took a video of it. The video got out, and every school in the county yelled "Oh dear" at football games for the next 3 years. Also, if we weren't playing at home, they would pour deer pee under the bleachers. Yeah. Yep. Okay. It just crossed my mind that this man can now check off the last 2 questions on the rice purity test.
This one's dark and very true crimey because it's a true crime that took place in my high school in rural North Carolina when I was attending. Buckle up. There was a girl in our high school named Andrea, and she used to stand at the payphone for her entire lunch and any break. And we all kind of thought oh, weird. Why is she at the payphone all the time? This is her. That's the gal. Miss Andrea. Turns out she was talking to her boyfriend, this gentleman named Joe. So we got to school one day and found out that she and her boyfriend stabbed her mom to death super brutally. And there were a lot of chilling details, like the fact that she was playing with her mom's hair and being affectionate right before she stabbed her. When the dad got home, they laughed at him and chased him with knives. She was making jokes in the courtroom. Just awful.
This wasn't high school, it was middle school, but since I went to a secondary school where middle school is attached to a high school, I think it counts. It was 7th or 8th grade biology when we were looking at cells and, looking at different types of cells underneath microscopes, learning about cells, and pretty much everything that everyone knows about cells we were doing in 7th and 8th grade. During my class period, we had to take a Q-tip, scrape the inside of our cheek, rub it on a slide, and look at it under a microscope, so that way we could just see what our cheek cells looked like. Just very cute. My teacher at the time had a special microscope which actually projected what she saw onto a screen, so that way we could see everyone's cells and see what everyone's cheek cells looked like. It was pretty cool. When she was projecting this one girl's cheek cells, we all knew exactly what she was doing that morning because swimming around on screen with its little tail, we all saw an entire sperm. Needless to say, BJ Betty, she kind of left our school after that incident, so yeah.
Oh yeah, I got this one. So there was this girl at my high school that was in love with Justin Bieber. She went to all of his concerts, always backstage, always VIP, always meeting him, always posting pictures, yada, yada, yada. Then she decides to start a Twitter account to get him to go to prom with her. People are kind of all right, fat chance. I think that started probably around 2010. Then what feels like out of nowhere, Scooter Braun is in touch with her. She ends up on a radio station. Things are moving, things are happening. Fast forward a couple years, 2012, we're at our senior prom. Someone gets on a mic and calls this girl to the dance floor, and then all of a sudden projecting on the side of the wall is a video of Justin Bieber saying, "Hey, I'm so sorry I couldn't come to your prom, blah, 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 blah." Everybody we're like, huh? He says, "I've got a limo waiting outside. Get in, you're coming to the Billboard Music Awards with me tomorrow." Look at that. Paid for her hair, nails, makeup, custom fitted dress.
When I was in year 9 at secondary school, some boys in my year group decided to hack into the school's Twitter and started tweeting posts about fellow students and really nasty, racist and remarks about some of the teachers as well. But one of the funniest things was we found out that our head teacher had a different type of career path. They announced that our teacher had a porn career and photoshopped his head on a porn star's body.
Brock Baker. So there's my senior picture from high school. Yeah, I went to Columbine. I know I usually make silly videos, but yeah, nobody really knows that I went there, and I never really knew how to talk about it. I mean, I was in middle school 2 miles away when it happened, but I still remember that day very vividly. So this is the house I grew up in. Check out this awesome snowman that I made. So that's where I lived until I was 20, and there is Columbine. Still feels weird, and now school shootings are super common, you know, pre-COVID, obviously. I don't really have an agenda with this video, just one of my fears of having kids is having to worry about that kind of shit. But, you know, you can't worry about everything. A lot of you probably weren't even born yet, but yeah, that's a peek into my childhood. Take care of yourselves.
Okay, so let me start this off with the fact that I went to private school up until high school, so I did not know many people going into high school, and our school was actually merged with the 7th and 8th graders, so I definitely did not know those kids. So one day I was walking to the library, which happened to be down where the 7th and 8th graders were, and I heard a kid talking about how he was going to shoot up the school. I'm like, okay, what the fuck? So I told my youth leader at the time, and she then reported it to the principal and whatnot. So the following day, the assistant principal called me down and questioned me about it. I was like, I don't know who the kid is. This is what I heard, blah, blah, blah. He's like, I don't believe you. I was like, okay, don't believe me. My friends, my family, and I will not be at school this day. Long story short, they found the kid. He had bombs, a hit list, guns, and everything, and was going to shoot up the school. The assistant principal still to this day has not apologized to me, and every single time I see him out in public, I literally want to beat the shit out of him because, like, I saved your life, Dewey Munson.
Okay, so I went to school here in San Diego, California, and my senior year, which was in 2012, there was a scandal. And by scandal, I mean there was a couple of football players who were in the locker room, and one of them got a pencil shoved up their booty hole. And when I tell you, like, a couple of days after this happened, our school was, like, overrun by, like, reporters that were outside trying to talk to students. And they even started running articles about how it was like a hazing. But I mean, long story short, it was definitely a sexual assault. And here we have a screenshot from the local news story that was running about it. And see, it says involves juveniles and a sex crime. Now, there were many stories about how exactly it happened. People were saying he was held down. It got rammed in with a binder. He put it there himself and told them to do it. I mean, who knows? I mean, even I got interviewed on the news. It was not a cute look. I'm so glad the video doesn't exist anymore. But I don't know if that tops my biology teacher getting caught with meth.
So last year, freshman year, there was a fight between these two girls. And one of the girls were pregnant and the other one was just fucking crazy. So basically they fought in this like field area that we have in the back of the school. And the other girl was kicking the other girl in the belly and was like trying to kill her baby, I guess. And the pregnant girl stabbed the other girl in the head. And there ended up being a bunch of fucking cops that came to this school and stuff. And I think the girl who was trying to kill the baby got arrested with attempted murder because I think she had a baby or whatever. And then the other girl, the pregnant girl, got like assault with a deadly weapon because she stabbed the other girl in the head. Like, there was a full gash on her fucking head, like a hole in her head. I have a bunch of pictures and stuff, but they are deep in my fucking photos.
Well, I actually have two. I'm only going to share one, but both did end up on Tosh.0. If you want to know the other one, it's not as juicy, but I can do that later. So, my Spanish teacher had a daughter who was older than me, and she was the valedictorian of that year. Well, a Spanish teacher loved to talk about how wonderful this daughter was, and how much she's accomplished, and how she's better than us. Yes, she did say these things, until we found out she was doing porn, and her first video surfaced and went around the entire school. Entire town. Everyone and their mom saw this video. It was on the radio. People were talking about it. They had people from our school come onto the radio to talk about this video. Tosh.0 ended up having the girl come in, which was great. And a student broke the news to the teacher, to her mother, by bringing his phone over and showing her. She threw up and never came back.
Okay, my sophomore year, there was a girl who transferred as a junior to our school. middle of the year, super random, but she said she had moved from somewhere, so it was like, okay. She was really quiet, but she went to a lot of parties and like football games and stuff like that. Went to our school for a year, then out of nowhere disappeared randomly. A few weeks later, there was a giant drug bust at our school. She was an undercover cop. Students didn't know, staff didn't know, principal didn't know. She was in our yearbook. We got 21 Jump Streeted. Bamboozled.